Senator Olson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This, I think, raises some broader issues. I've heard several comments that we've passed statutes and they weren't being implemented, so now we're going to have rules. So therefore, rules have more power and authority in law than our statutes do. I was working on an issue where there were some folks that were involved in a rulemaking process and had announced in this for the task force that rules trump the law. And I say, no, statutes are what we do here is, if anything, it's to direct where there is some sense of implementation of it that rules are needed. And cities have ordinances. They don't pass rules. They have ordinances that have to be within the framework and consistency with the authority that's given them by statute. So it kind of concerns me if we are saying, well, couldn't do it by statute, so we're going to turn it over to another body to create rules. We've had arguments over the years over this in terms of how rulemaking is used and the extensiveness of it, because it can have a broad reach, and sometimes maybe it's legislators that are not willing to grapple with an issue and then just turn it over to a bureaucracy to go through a rulemaking process, or even expedite in some cases, and actually end up with things that have the force and effect of law. So that part is kind of concerning me about this, whether it's the shoreland or what it is. And I think that needs some attention in terms of if the executive order has that power and can't be changed, but I think it can. I think the legislature can still pass laws, which of course have to be signed by the governor, the executive branch. We ought to be looking at some of these key areas and determining whether the elements of them that are needed for change ought not to be done in statute and not necessarily relying on the rulemaking. Because what happens a lot of times in the rulemaking is the authority that is granted makes some of our citizens feel helpless in terms of what they can do or how to deal with it. And that's in a couple of books over there that we don't pay a lot of attention to, and we just let that ride on. And I think it's irresponsible on our part not to be paying more attention to what is good policy belongs in statute, rather than overly becoming over reliant on rules to actually carry out the laws.